As you've probably heard, there's an audit going on in Maricopa County, Arizona. That's where the Republican-controlled state legislature decided that they wanted to verify the integrity of the election results in 2020. They contracted with a company called Cyber Ninjas because apparently the movie Hackers is pretty accurate, but they contracted with Cyber Ninjas, who is conducting an audit of the physical ballots to compare to the results provided by the Dominion voting machines. Now, Dominion is a company that came under quite a bit of fire during the 2020 elections with all sorts of allegations about inaccuracies that ranged from accidental to intentional, and there's been a whole bunch of political and legal fallout from these allegations, and those calls have been led directly by Donald Trump and other extremely high-profile people in the Trump regime, as well as Republican congressmen. So, how do you go ahead and solve discrepancies in election results? You have an audit. Well, that audit has been lambasted and portrayed extremely negatively by the mainstream media, by big tech, by various critics. And so, how do you go ahead and fix that? You hire a second team to do a second audit, and that's what we're talking about today. I'm Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I'm a lawyer. I'm also a legal and political commentator on YouTube and on Odyssey. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications so you don't miss any videos, okay? Here we go. Here we go. This is the Arizona Senate considering another audit of Maricopa County 2020 election. And this is from the Washington Examiner. You can check out the link down in the description if you want to read the full article. But we're going to take a peek at the beginning of it here and see what's going on. So the Arizona Senate may sign a deal for another 2020 election review of Maricopa County, following reports that some overseers of the audit are dissatisfied with the process. And this is, of course, going to happen when you have a media disparaging the audit with report after report after report over and over every day. Now, I'm not a person who's here to judge the audit. I don't know. I'm not in Arizona, so I'm not saying whether it's good or bad or anything like that. What I do know about this audit is it has ignited the curiosity and the interest of millions and millions of people across the country. They're very, very, how do I say this? There are people with large amounts of questions around the 2020 election. We're still covering it in May of 2021, and we'll still be covering it probably in June, July, August, it seems. At this rate, we may be covering the 2020 election all the way into the 2022 election because that's just how controversial this election has been. Tensions between the parties have been at an all-time high. The ability of people to engage in misconduct was at a paramount, and the stakes have never been higher. At least that's what we're told by the media in the election cycle, that this is the most important election of all time. When you combine that with the Time magazine article laying out how the media, specifically big media and big tech, got together and literally controlled the messaging in regards to the 2020 election, starting well before the election had occurred and continuing through the process, and then openly admitted to it at a later date after the election. When you combine all of this, you have a bunch of people who have lost their faith, lost any faith they may have had left in the election system. And right now, legislators are desperately trying to restore that faith and to secure the integrity of elections around the country. And of course, these efforts are being regarded as if they're the new Jim Crow by people that go all the way up to President Biden themselves. Apparently, when Republicans want to ensure the integrity of an election, it is only to suppress black people. That is literally the messaging, that is the unironic messaging of the left and of the President of the United States right now. And they all seem to conveniently forget that Democrats had lots of questions about the 2016 election and its integrity as well. Those questions sort of fell by the wayside, except no, they didn't. The Democrats in Congress went ahead and conducted a multi-year investigation into the election of Donald Trump in 2016, which returned no results. But we're all supposed to forget that they had challenged the election results at every single step of the process, including before they even came in 2016, all the way through the entire presidency of Donald Trump. And many of them still question the results of that election today. Now that Republicans are doing it, people are, of course, not always consistent in their approach. Okay, so that's it's to be expected that people are dissatisfied with the process because the propaganda arm, that is the media, is so strong, and the messaging on this has been controlled from the start. Again, not a conspiracy theory, not any sort of Alex Jones type stuff. No, it's nothing like that. It's actually admitted to in a Time article about how the messaging of this election. That's the one thing we know for certain about shenanigans in the 2020 election, is that there is a powerful group of people who got together to control the media narrative on it. And we know it because they flat out said exactly how they did it to Time magazine. All right, the present audit, which includes a review of 2.1 million ballots cast in the state's November election in the county, has been underway since April 23rd at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, led by the hired firm Cyber Ninjas. Audit liaison, former Secretary of State Ken Bennett, told a reporter with CBS 5 News on Thursday that hand counters had gone through more than 800,000 ballots so far. Organizers have said they hope to finish by the end of June. So that's good. Cyber Ninjas audit is looking to finish by the end of June. I think they were originally supposed to finish in May, but they're a little bit behind schedule. But that's fine. These are big processes. They take a lot of time, and what you want is accuracy. But it says the GOP-led Senate is already eyeing another recount, which would be entirely electronic, running digital images of ballots through a program to count all votes cast for every race on the county's ballot, according to the Arizona Republic. So let's ditch the article for a little bit here. I don't think we need it anymore anyway. The new audit that they're looking at would be done by a nonprofit vote audit company that exists. One of the criticisms of Cyber Ninjas is that it's a new company. It's never done this before. Not that that should necessarily disqualify them. The quality of the work should be what qualifies or disqualifies them. But that being said, the other audit firm apparently has some experience, but what they're going to do is they're going to review the results based on the images that already exist from Maricopa County. These images were already turned over to the Senate GOP, the Senate Republicans, in a subpoena that was issued back in February, and a judge said, yes, you should definitely do this. I actually covered this back when it happened, and then was very surprised to see how long it took to actually get these Maricopa images into sort of circulation, and they largely haven't been. But now we've got a company that's going to review the existing ballots that were imaged by the Dominion systems and then compare them to the results provided by the Dominion systems. One of the big allegations that has been in this thing is that the Dominion systems tabulated votes differently than what was put down on paper. Now, without any regard to the validity of that accusation, in theory, this second audit would actually compare those results specifically. It would be comparing what happened, what was put on a physical ballot versus what the machine reported. Whereas the Cyber Ninjas is separate. They're re-imaging, re-evaluating the image, the physical ballots on their own. They're not doing a review of the Dominion systems reports, right? They're not reviewing the existing image data. They're getting their own data and going after the ballots that way. So having these two audits, having two different methodologies, and examining two different data sets in a way is going to give a sort of comparative approach to it if they go through with it. Now, they haven't actually finalized plans to do this yet, but in my opinion, if the state can afford it, if the state is willing to do it, and so it's something like $400,000, which in regards to state spending is basically a drop in the bucket. It's a new toilet at the Senate building or whatever. I think they should go ahead and do it, because if we want to get accurate election data. Let's compare the data that exists with the data that Cyber Ninjas comes up with, and then let's see what the results actually say. But that's me. I don't know. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who thinks maybe we should get a lot of data around our elections because maybe, just maybe, we want to be sure we are electing who we're electing. But that's me. Again, I'd love to know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. And until next time, peace. Peace.